The following video is a role play between a trainer and PDI, demonstrating how a Part 3 test, or standards check, could be conducted. Let's go ahead and watch.
Sam, so we've already had our conversation about what we were planning on doing today, but just for the benefit of the examiner, obviously, that we've got in here today, I'd just like to recap over what you're happy with what we've agreed.
Okay.
All right. So my understanding is that we are covering roundabouts for today's lesson, and the help towards making a decision on whether to go or not when cars are coming round, as to whether they're blockers, and just giving you a bit more confidence and understanding of when to go rather than hesitating and stopping all the time. So you're wanting me to prompt you?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. And just sort of give you a bit of help making those decisions. Yeah,
please. Okay.
So we're going to spend some time on several different roundabouts and with the traffic to make these decisions clear. We'll try and give you the responsibility then to hopefully show that you can get the hang of it as we go along.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So again, with the examiner that we've got in the back today, what are the things that we need to be aware of with our drive today?
The extra weight.
Okay.
So potentially stopping distances. Where they're potentially going to be looking. Where I'm going to be looking with them. On a hill we might need to put the handbrake on a bit more in case we roll back.
Okay, so good. You mentioned stopping distances. So what about the stopping distances? How's it going to affect us?
We'll need to start thinking about braking earlier.
Okay, so braking sooner, braking earlier, a bit more gradual. Yeah. And the same as you said with sort of hills and such like. Would that mean then giving it a bit more?
But maybe a bit more gas.
A bit more gas. Yeah. Okay. What else do we need to be aware of with our passenger themselves being in our car physically? What should they be doing?
Seatbelt maybe.
Yeah. Seatbelt. Yeah. Happy.
Yeah.
Anything else that you might want to check that they've got? That you would also check yourself when you're getting in the car?
I'm not sure.
Headrest.
Okay.
So just make sure that your headrest position is as it should be, and then equally for your passenger as well.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, so if you're ready, just as we have done always before, I've got the pedals on the floor. Obviously I can and will intervene if necessary. Will always explain my actions if needs be, but I may need to give you a verbal intervention if needs be.
Right, okay.
So please don't be offended if I need to take any action. Obviously I just need to keep the car safe.
Right.
Alright.
Yep.
So you're happy with taking control of the vehicle?
Yes.
Yeah, and you're happy with what we're doing today?
Yes.
Have you got any questions?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. So when you're ready, if you're comfortable, start the car up for me. Okay. And you're happy for me to give you instruction onto where we're going today?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not so familiar with this area?
No.
Okay, so when you're ready then, if you'd like to follow the road out down towards the main road.
Okay.
Alright.
Let's pause for a moment and review the conversation between the instructor and pupil. For the benefit of the examiner, the instructor has summarized the lesson plan that was agreed with the pupil prior to the examiner getting in the car. The instructor clarifies with the pupil that he wants help when making decisions on roundabouts to emerge onto them safely. The instructor also clarifies what help the pupil wants. It was agreed to help by prompting him on approach. Once the structure of the lesson has been clarified, the instructor leads the pupil into explaining how the rear passenger should be checked to make sure they are secure and safe, and what effect the rear seat passenger may have on the control of the car. The instructor also clarifies her responsibility with regards to keeping the car safe before they set off. The important thing to note is that the instructor is always making sure that any decisions are an agreement between them and the pupil. Now the instructor has summarized the lesson plan for the examiner, they will deliver the practical element of the lesson. The examiner is looking for the lesson to be conducted for 40 minutes. This gives the examiner an opportunity to assess the instructor's teaching ability against the 17 competencies required by the DVSA. If the instructor feels that there is a need to pull the pupil over during the session to discuss any identified needs, the examiner will allow for this. Let's see how the practical session is conducted.
So you can go either way down here.
Okay.
At the end of the road, we're going to turn right.
Okay.
How do you feel about this? You happy with this situation?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so just have a little pause for a second. Okay.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah. So as we came to the end of that road there, obviously with the car parked right on top of you on the junction, and I completely agree, it's a bit of a strange situation, yeah? What should we do if we're ever in doubt then?
Wait, have a look.
Which gives us what?
Time.
To analyse it?
Think,
Yeah, to think. Yeah, good. So what told you that that guy knew that we were here?
He looked at us.
Yeah, so eye contact, yeah. And he wasn't there for very long, was he? And then he started moving.
No, yeah.
Let's review how the instructor dealt with the last situation. The instructor asked if the pupil was okay dealing with the van, which was parked across the junction. The instructor doesn't over-instruct at this point, by telling the pupil how to deal with it, therefore encouraging the pupil to take responsibility for analysing the problem. The pupil appears unsure how to deal with it, however, very quickly works out what to do. Once the junction had been dealt with, the instructor follows it up by asking questions to establish the pupil's understanding of the situation. Let's continue.
So as we get up to the roundabout up here, we're going to be turning right, second exit.
Okay.
Are you happy at the moment with what's going on?
Yeah, I'm okay
Yeah.
at the minute.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay. And just another little left mirror check. So nice amount of observations going around the roundabout, and you checked the mirror check signal. When coming off the roundabout though, is it important to check again maybe? Do you think, or not?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, for what reason?
Just in case something has come round on the inside or something's from the left's come in, I suppose.
Could it help with your road position as well maybe? Not saying there was anything wrong with it, but it could also show you placement.
I suppose we could be a bit further over to the left.
Yeah. Is that something you want me to keep an eye on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Helps.
Notice how the instructor is aware of her pupil's actions and surroundings. She directs her pupil to check his left mirror as he exits the roundabout as the observation was missed. Once clear of the roundabout, the instructor gives some positive feedback regarding the approach to the junction. The instructor then asks questions to establish the pupil's understanding of the importance of checking the mirror. The instructor follows up the feedback by checking whether the pupil needs any help with checking the mirrors when dealing with similar situations. It is agreed, by both the pupil and instructor, to keep an eye on the situation, but no immediate help is needed by the pupil. Therefore, no change or adaptation to the lesson is required at this point. Let's continue.
So that last roundabout, obviously we didn't have any traffic, so we'll see how we go with the next roundabout. So the roundabout, I'd like you to follow the road ahead, second exit.
Right, okay.
Happy with this?
Yes.
Okay. Nice, good. So checked that mirror twice that time. Yeah, checked just before and then as you went to move across. Lovely. How did that feel?
It felt a little bit better, yeah.
Yeah. As we come up and over this bridge, you're going to come down to a set of traffic lights. Okay, we're going to follow the road left at the traffic lights, okay, which just takes us towards Ipswich.
Okay.
Notice how the instructor gives advance warning of the traffic light control junction ahead, giving directions well in advance. The instructor has done this because the pupil is unaware of the road layout, as it is the first time they have driven on that road. The junction cannot be seen as they are driving over a railway bridge which obscures their vision of the traffic lights. The instructor has therefore verbally intervened in a timely and appropriate manner. Failing to provide the information early may have caused the pupil to be confused, therefore increasing the risk of making a fault. The instructor is being proactive rather than reactive. Let's continue.
Is there anything normally that we would be doing while waiting at a traffic light?
Handbrake?
Yes, please. So. Now, can you think of the reasons why we need to use a handbrake whilst at traffic lights?
So that we can be ready to go.
Potentially, yes. It can help you move off a bit faster, can't it? Getting your feet ready. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so you
Okay.
can set yourself.
What other reasons?
In case someone behind us potentially hits us.
Yeah, because what type of traffic lights are we actually at? Is it just a traffic light system, or?
It's timed, isn't it?
Think about what you actually see in front of you here, though.
It's a filter lane, isn't it?
Yes, but think a bit more on the pavements. What?
The pedestrian crossing.
The pedestrian crossing, yes. I am aware that there aren't any there at the moment, but if the situation was different,
Okay.
like say for safety.
Notice how the instructor picks up on the fact that the pupil has not engaged the handbrake whilst waiting at the traffic lights. The instructor asks the pupil what they could do in this situation. The pupil responds by putting on the handbrake. The action is the correct one. The instructor has time to question why the use of the handbrake could help. The pupil may answer the question correctly or demonstrate the correct action. It is important to follow up with questions to gauge their understanding. By asking questions about the use of the handbrake, the instructor has encouraged the pupil to take responsibility for analyzing the situation. This also demonstrates that learning has taken place during the pupil's lessons. Let's continue.
Have you noticed anything different about this road?
It's a little bit bigger.
Yeah. And what is the road speed, do you think?
Well, it's 40 an hour. Okay, so I need to.
Just increase your speed slightly, yeah.
Okay.
Did you miss that first speed sign, do you
I
think?
think I missed more than one.
Okay, so what could we do when we're kind of joining new roads then to anticipate possible speed changes? Where should we be looking?
Scan the road a bit better, potentially.
What else could tell us about the speed of the road? Give you a bit of a hint.
Maybe the street lamps, maybe.
Sometimes, well, obviously this one's caught you out a little bit because it's got street lights, but it is a 40, so yeah, scanning will help.
Okay.
Ahead at the roundabout, second exit.
Oh.
The instructor notices that the pupil is driving below the current speed limit. Questions are asked to establish the pupil's understanding of the current situation. The instructor demonstrates the importance of identifying the fault, analyzing it and being prepared to remedy it. See it. Say it. Sort it. If needed. The pupil displays a good understanding of what they are doing, therefore additional help is not discussed by the instructor. If in doubt, ask the pupil how they feel about that particular topic. This will help identify if the pupil has a particular need to help them achieve their learning goals. Let's continue.
Okay.
Okay, happy with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Just wondering what that cyclist was going to do.
That's it. Good. So you mentioned about the cyclist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt the car start to slow down, so you were thinking about the possibilities of it changing. Good, because the roundabout itself was clear. But is it obvious something that else could have caused you to change? At the traffic lights, onto the roundabout, we're then turning left.
So
Okay.
is it this first turn?
So once you get to the traffic lights,
Okay.
after the traffic lights at the roundabout, turning left. So yeah, super. You were thinking about the cyclists as saying the other awareness of how it's going to possibly make you change. Then after that, you noticed again the speed changed up to the 40, built the speed up again, which is lovely.
50, okay.
Good. Scanning that road space. Again, you've got street lights, but that doesn't actually mean anything. What else could tell you about a faster road here, though?
The barriers, perhaps.
What about the physical road? What do you notice? Any change?
2 lanes,
Mm-hmm.
so potentially dual carriageway.
Yeah. The left at the roundabout this time, first exit.
First exit, okay. So do I need to move over then?
Yeah, so what you do, yeah, that's it. As long as it's safe. Can you see?
No.
Take your time, bring the gear down to match your speed.
So should I have gone then?
No. Now, that was quite a nice example there because you naturally progress down to a slow stop anyway.
Right, okay.
Ahead at the roundabout, second exit. I'll bring back to that in a second.
Okay.
As the pupil approaches a roundabout, the instructor is aware of the pupil's actions. She prompts him to change to a lower gear to match the speed of the car. Once in the new road, the pupil asks if he should have gone. The instructor promptly replies. However, as another roundabout approaches, she tells the pupil that she will follow up his question once he has dealt with the roundabout. The instructor has demonstrated that questions should be answered as soon as practicable, that feedback is appropriate and timely. Giving feedback to the pupil as he negotiates a roundabout may cause risk if he is concentrating on the question rather than dealing with other hazards. Let's see how the instructor continues her feedback.
Now, are you happy to discuss about that particular car whilst we drive, or would you like to pull up and talk about it up here?
We can do it as a drive. if
Yeah?
you're
Okay, so continue to follow the road ahead at the next 2 roundabouts.
Okay.
So you mentioned to me about that car. Now, how much of the physical car could you see facing you, so the front of the car?
Not a great deal.
Okay, could you tell me sort of the position it was at?
It was sort of like halfway round the roundabout, really.
Okay, so would you say you saw the front wheel, the bonnet space?
No.
No? Okay. It was actually pointing directly at us.
Okay.
Okay. So as it's directly at you, depending on the size of the roundabout, generally speaking, it's coming our direction at that point.
Right.
Yeah. If you can only just start to see the car emerge towards you at the roundabout, it potentially could be a blocker, or it could come round.
Right.
So where that was positioned on that particular roundabout, let's say we naturally progressed down from a slow speed to a stop anyway. It happened nicely that yes, you very much should have stopped for that. Okay. So we're going to turn right at this roundabout. So again, with that car that approached towards you, and say you're quite happy with roundabouts when there's nothing on them, when
Yeah.
you've got something starting to emerge, did you feel comfortable with that car that was coming almost on?
Yeah, it was. I could see that it was quite far away, so
Okay.
I was okay with that.
We're going to turn left first exit.
It's just when there's something there,
Like now?
Like now, yeah, yeah.
So what do you think?
I think I should wait
Okay. Mhm.
because I can't see that much from that direction, like that.
And they've entered onto the roundabout already?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah, because they're already onto the roundabout, they're facing us, aren't they?
Yes.
They're already coming towards us. So keep in mind then, on the next route round, do you, obviously I haven't been able to prompt you too much because there hasn't been as much traffic.
Mm-hmm.
In that sort of a situation, do you want me to continue to help, or would you like to just ask me if needs be, just to confirm your decision?
Maybe if I do it, and then if I'm going to be doing something wrong, you can jump in. Is that okay?
Yeah. Could I possibly suggest, maybe, I don't know if you've done this before, but how about if you kind of give me an idea of your decision before you go into it?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you think you could tell me what you're about to do?
Yeah, I could try.
Yeah?
Following the feedback and conversation regarding the roundabout, the instructor now encourages the pupil to take responsibility for the next set of roundabouts. The instructor uses leading questions to establish an agreement with the pupil on the level of responsibility they are willing to take. This is followed up with what responsibility the instructor is going to take. The instructor is allowing the pupil to demonstrate learning has taken place. The instructor may still ask questions to establish understanding. This is not over-instruction. Let's continue and see if the pupil can take more responsibility without help from the instructor.
So at the traffic lights again then, we're going to turn left.
Oh, this is the road that I was going too slow on, isn't it?
That's right, that's the one we're about to join again, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
nicely done. Yeah, so are you happy then on this route round then to give it a bit of a go on your own, sort of giving yourself the decision making,
yeah.
but sort of confirming with me what you're going to do? Would that make you feel a bit more comfortable?
Yeah, yeah. And then if I am gonna say, if I say something wrong, it can be sorted before I do anything silly.
Mhm. What do you hear going on around us?
Mhm.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
So, great example there, blue lights. If one had come up behind us now, continue on, you've just got a green light now. It's alright.
I'll get caught up in the blue light.
I know, it's very easily done to get distracted, isn't it, by other things. But as we were saying, if you get a blue light vehicle come up behind us at a red traffic light, what would you do?
If they're forcing their way for any to get through, I suppose I'd edge forward. to
Is
get
it
them
safe
through.
to do so though? Because should you be going through a red light?
I suppose not. No.
No.
So I suppose you wait.
Yeah, because it's just as bad, or just as good, sorry, for you to, you know, wait to not put yourself in danger, because otherwise they could end up having to help you plus the person they're heading on towards. So a brief second's wait for a change of lights, when then safe to do so, follow through the lights and move over safely.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Alright. The key is not to panic, is it?
No.
No. Okay, so do you want me to give you instruction of the route again?
Yes.
Yeah?
Please, yeah.
Okay. So as we come up to this traffic light, roundabout, talking traffic lights, it's on the brain. At the roundabout, we're going ahead, second exit.
Yeah. Because this one's concealed, isn't it?
Slightly, yeah, it's not very well signposted.
Okay, so second exit. Left, you said?
the left lane, but ahead, second exit.
Okay. So if I stay in this lane,
Mhm.
last time I went round I indicated. Do I need to indicate?
What's the road telling you?
I can only turn left,
Mhm.
so I don't need to.
And it's traffic light operated, isn't it?
Right,
So is it benefiting anyone by putting a signal on?
I suppose not.
No. Because what is actually... Stop there for me.
Okay.
When you come up to behind a vehicle, what should we be seeing?
Oh, the tyres.
The what, sorry?
The tyres.
The tyres. Is there anything else?
Quite big, isn't it?
Mm.
Mirrors, maybe?
On a vehicle of the size that is, potentially, yeah, you probably want a bit more distance. Think about the debris that could fall off the back of it, especially if it's an articulated lorry of some description carrying something that could fall onto your bonnet.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tyres and tarmac. Is that something you want me to watch, or are you happy with that?
I normally do it.
You normally do it. Well, no, you don't normally do it, I think is what you mean to say. You normally keep the good distance, yeah. Okay. So we'll just keep an eye on it. But yes, you're right. Tyres and tarmac should be visual, shouldn't it?
Notice, although the instructor is giving less help with the roundabouts, she is still watching the pupil, keeping the car safe. As the pupil approaches a set of traffic lights, the instructor tells the pupil to stop, as the pupil is getting close to a lorry in front of them. The instructor, as before, then questions the pupil about the appropriate clearance and the pupil's understanding. This demonstrates that the instructor isn't goal-focused, and is still identifying any potential needs that the pupil may need, offering help if required. Let's continue.
A bit of a dodgy thing going on
Yeah,
the back there, isn't it?
going on.
Mechanics are going. So another good reason not to get too close.
Okay.
Suddenly decides to empty onto your bonnet. So again, at the roundabout, we're turning left, first exit. So is this a good speed, judging on what's going on in front of you?
Well, I can't. If I go any faster, I'm going to get too close to them. So I just wanted to hold back a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we approach that roundabout, what could you tell me that car was potentially doing? Could you tell where it was going?
It was really far over to the other side, so
Mhm.
it was. I
Good.
didn't think it was going to come round.
Yep, so continuing ahead, next 3 roundabouts.
Okay.
So in essence, with that vehicle then, that you just made a good decision on getting onto the roundabout there, what else could that car have been for you to help you get out into traffic? What else do we call those types of...
Oh, maybe a blocker.
Yeah, that was a typical example of a blocker, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. So can you see the difference between a blocker on a roundabout and when it's coming round towards you?
Yeah, well, they'd probably be travelling a little bit less speed, maybe.
What about the position of the car? What do you see differently on a blocker?
They're going to be wider potentially.
Wider? More side profile
Yeah.
of the car maybe, rather than front? Yeah?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make you nervous when they come from the other side?
Well, there's no markings there. It looked like he was just going to go, so I wasn't sure.
But a little bit of easing off the gas and a little bit of brakes as you did just gave you time to have a little think.
Hmm.
And then what else did you notice of that?
Well, they then stopped, backed off a little bit. Didn't
turning right at the roundabout. How are you feeling now about the roundabouts?
Well, they've been quite quiet, so I feel okay. Some of the last three, they're quite small. So do I need to go as wide as I'm going, or?
Okay, so this roundabout I'd like to turn right this time, third exit.
Okay.
So in answer to your question, firstly, you were saying about the wideness of the roundabout. How many lanes into the roundabout is there?
One.
And is there general exits going off that roundabout as a normal roundabout, or would you say it's more of a kind of a calming measure?
I suppose more of a calm measure.
So it's a sort of different type of roundabout, isn't it? So you want to make a slight adapt to making an attempt of moving around the outside edge, but if it's not really affecting anyone as a normal roundabout would, it doesn't change the rules as such. You've still got to make an attempt to the outer edge, but you not necessarily have to go way out and way back in again.
So it's sort of like a mini roundabout, isn't it?
Yeah, in that sense.
Okay.
Back there on that last roundabout, you made a little bit of a grumble with the car coming towards us. Were you a bit uncertain about what to do?
No, I just didn't know whether they were, how fast they were going. I didn't know whether to go or not. So.
Okay, so at this roundabout we're going to turn left first exit. So it's more about kind of not necessarily about the blockers and such then. So we've do you feel like we've kind of tidied up a little bit with the positioning of the blockers?
Yeah.
And actually on the roundabout, do you feel that we need to address maybe next lesson the actual people coming onto the roundabout then?
Yeah, maybe sort of like judgment of speed and stuff like that, because I think that's sort of, maybe I'm struggling to judge whether or not how fast they're going and whether it's safe.
Possibly, because it's kind of a part and part of two things there, isn't it? So we're coming back up into your estate here, so we're going to be taking the next turn and coming up on the left. Little left mirror check.
Oh.
And then left again. That was a very clear check that time. Is that something that we need to possibly work on next lesson?
I don't think so. I'm normally okay with that. I think that because I was thinking too much about what we've been doing.
So a bit of a focus thing then?
Yeah.
Okay. And then back into your road. And then just find a safe place for us to park. Just stop a second. When reversing, where should we be checking?
Oh.
That's it. What are we looking for?
Anything or anyone.
That's it.
Although the lesson was heading for the test center and finish, the instructor kept up with the see it, say it, and offer of sorting any faults being made by the pupil. That's the practical element of the lesson completed. Now the instructor is required to complete the session with reflection and debrief of the lesson. The examiner will allow approximately 2 minutes for this. They are looking for the instructor to encourage the pupil to reflect on their performance, offering feedback to support the learner. Let's watch and listen now to the last part of the session.
Okay, so if you just switch the engine off for me for the moment. Okay, so how do you feel that went today?
Fast.
Fast?
Yeah, time went really fast. But okay. I feel a little bit better about looking at what the blockers are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is more judging speed and gaps more than anything else.
So the hesitation that we were discussing at the beginning of actually getting onto the roundabouts, it's not necessarily about the physical car being there so much anymore.
No, I'm happy
You can
with that.
determine what they're going to do.
Yeah.
It's more about the speed in which they're approaching onto it
and
from
whether
other
I've got
exits.
time to go or not.
Okay.
But I'm happy with now. I can sort of look at other cars and see that okay, that could block that person. I can go.
Or whether they're coming around towards you.
Yeah, judging roughly where they're going. It's just
Okay.
whether I've got enough time to slot into spaces.
Okay. So it sounds like we've kind of half resolved it,
Yeah.
which is good. Yeah. So do you feel a bit more positive in the making of the decisions then to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from then today, obviously we haven't been able to get fully onto the route of the judgment of the car's speed, maybe, partially because there hasn't been as many cars coming around as we'd have liked. But like you said, on that second loop round, you started to really assess sort of your road speed. You were thinking a bit more about this side mirror as we'd addressed it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Straight away, you kind of picked that up. We had noticed a tyre and tarmac issue. But as I say, it's only sort of cropped up the once, although we have sort of mentioned it and you've sort of hands up, missed it.
Yeah.
But again, we'll keep an eye on some of these little things. We don't want them developing into a bad habit, do we?
No. Especially with
So
something that big.
absolutely. So next lesson then, what would you like to work on from today, would you say?
If we could do something similar, but with potentially go to a busier roundabout, so that I can have the opportunity to see and judge the speed of cars coming on and off of roundabouts.
Yeah, so would you be happier to go on to slightly bigger ones then as well?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So just to give us a bit more speed and timings of things.
Yeah.
So now we understand the judgment of where they are and where they're headed. It's more those that are kind of getting on from that exit.
Yeah. So coming
Closest to
from
us.
so they're like slightly fast moving from the right, so
Yeah.
that I can have the chance to get out and
Okay.
deal with
Yeah,
that.
we can look at that, not a problem. Obviously we can recap again next lesson when I see you, and we can determine how we want to go about that. But definitely that sounds like a good idea, a place to go, and then we'll just keep an eye on those other smaller elements which you started to do yourself and sort of self-remedied as we went along as well.
Yeah.
All
Brilliant.
right.
Yeah. Great.
Okay, great. We'll see you next week.
Brilliant.
That's the end of the video demonstration. I hope this has given you an insight as to how you could deliver a lesson on your Part 3 test or standards check. Good luck with your test.